Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Grand Cross video. Today I want to go over the coin shop, just because there's some things that I wish that I would have known going into the beginning of the game that I really wish I hadn't done, or just kind of been more mindful of. First things first is you definitely want to go into your menu and go to your Friends tab. Make sure you're trying to add as many friends as you can. Try to fill up these slots a lot, because you can see down here at the bottom there's a send all button. You can press this, I think it's once a day, and it'll basically just send out coins to all of your people, and it will reward you for doing that and give you a bunch of friendship tokens, or friendship coins in the process. So I think every time that I do it, I get around like 500 friendship coins out of it. So it's definitely worth doing, because you can, kind of stack up on those, and just, it's really easy. All you have to do is just add people, and it's not like anybody really cares whether or not you're on their friends list or not. So just send people friend requests. Who cares? You can, I think after every time you do a death match and different kinds of certain events and stuff like that, like if you use somebody's character, like if I were to go into this match right here, and I wanted to use somebody else's hero, like if I use their hero and put it on my team, I'm pretty sure it asks you at the very end of the, like after it's over with, if you want to add them to your team, or add them to your friends list. So I definitely recommend doing that. Try to fill up your friends list so you can get those easy coins, but other than that, we'll actually go into the coin shop itself. So starting with friendship, a lot of this stuff is really kind of useless stuff. Like, it's not really worth getting. I remember when I first started, I kind of had that sort of like collector's mentality almost, where it was like, oh, like friendship is easy to get, so why would I worry about like saving up on it or buying like certain stuff or whatever. I'll just buy whatever I kind of want. And I'm pretty sure I ended up buying some of these like rare units when I very first started, which was so stupid, because you literally, like, if you can do like a couple of multis and you pretty much have all of these characters almost. And if you're like just missing out on one or whatever, it's not a huge deal, because most of these you're not going to be leveling up and powering up anyway. So just don't worry about buying any of these. That's all stupid options. These pots are kind of dumb. Don't spend your stuff on that. You can literally just go to Fort Solgris and get all of these like books and this little potion and everything like that, and you can get tons more of them, like just easily by grinding Fort Solgris. These little rare pendants, these are same thing. You can go to Fort Solgris, and I think you can get these from just doing certain missions and stuff like that. These are actually really good, because they give you the so there's, I can't remember what they're called, but I actually have some on me. This right here, Event Dungeon Key Bundle. So this gives you the event keys or whatever, and it's basically just going to let you, it basically, I think it gives you 3 charges for the event keys or whatever, but they are, not this. They're the ones that take 8 hours to regen, so they're kind of worth getting. So if you go into this mode right here, you can see these right here. I have that one, and it'll give me three event key dungeons, or event dungeon keys, whereas normally it takes a whole 8 hours just to get one of these back. But that's kind of helpful, because you can grind these out, and you can actually get SSR pendants, which are kind of hard to come by just by doing that. So I would recommend that if you can get enough. I know a lot of people later in the game, once you've gotten a lot further in, and I think your friends list is tied to your level almost. I'm not positive on that, but I know you can get a lot more friends than just 30. A lot of the bigger players were saying that once they get up so high and they have so many friends on their friends list, that they can send it out and basically fill up their entire friends list, or their entire friendship coins, like the 2,000 limit, in one day. So if you are to that point, or you just can save up and you're looking for those specifically, then feel free to buy those. They're not that bad, and plus you do kind of get friendship pretty easily, so it's not like a huge deal. These keys are pretty much the same thing. Probably not quite as worth it, because they literally just give you the keys that let you farm the little like money making section of Fort Solgris. So If you're really like hurting for money, you could potentially do that, I guess, if you really wanted to. But I think you come across those kind of easily. Like you can the roulette wheel or whatever at the end of that you can do. I think you can do the roulette wheel 3 times a day in Fort Solgris. I think if you roll a 2, you can either get one of these or one of these. So I wouldn't worry too much about those. But I mean, if you want to save up for those, you can. I forget exactly what this is. What is this one? A bundle of keys which is access enchantment, evolution dungeons, and the SP. I actually don't know what that is specifically off the top of my head. I have one apparently. What does it do? Sorry, kind of off topic. 5 attribute key. I don't know. It's Fort Solgris. I guess if you're really wanting to farm Fort Solgris, that wasn't all that expensive anyway. So I guess if you really wanted to, you could buy that. I probably wouldn't do it. The biggest thing that you're going to want to buy are these stamina potions right here. These stamina potions are super helpful because obviously they're going to refill your entire stamina gauge up here at the top, which lets you run, you know, things, because everything in this game pretty much costs stamina to run, except for like some of these premium sort of Fort Solgris stuff. So I would definitely recommend it. Like, grab all these stamina potions you can. Like, if you're wanting to farm overnight or whatever, like, leave your game on so that way you can try to farm out something to get equipment or whatever the case may be. You're going to need a lot of these stamina potions to do that. So this is like the biggest thing that I would recommend spending friendship on. Other than that, you can actually buy these Fight Festival entry tickets. These just give you extra attempts at going into PvP matches, which is really important. This game is really PvP based, and a lot of the gems that you can get each week come from playing PvP and getting higher up into PvP brackets and stuff like that. So even if you're not really super into PvP, try to like get to a decent level in PvP. At least try to get to gold, because I think at gold 5 you can get almost 30 gems or something like that per week, and you can't be knocked down out of gold, as far as I know. So once you get to gold, you can literally just leave it and not play PvP ever again, and you'll pretty much get the gold 5 rewards for PvP every single week without you even doing anything. So if you're into PvP, you can buy these if you end up running out of charges or whatever, or the tickets or whatever. So that's kind of nice. I don't think I would really recommend buying these, because you regen these keys for Fort Solgris so often that buying one SR treasure chest, which is only worth 15,000 gold anyway, isn't that great. I wouldn't worry about it, because 15,000 gold really isn't a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, that's friendship. Moving over to silver. If you need charges for any of these SR heroes, like some of these SR heroes are actually pretty good, so you might want to get them pushed up a little bit. Jillian's okay in certain situations. She's a really good bench unit, like a 4th unit or whatever. The final boss King is out right now, and I've actually been using Jillian a lot for my 4th slot because she boosts a lot of green characters' HPs. So she's pretty decent. So if you want to max, or like if you're trying to max her out or whatever, get her 6/6, you can spend your coins on this. I would try to recommend like waiting for the rotation for her to go on sale to buy it, but you can only buy these once. So I mean, it's not like a huge deal, because silver coins are, you know, not too hard to come by. At the same time, it's just for pulling rare units. And if you're doing multis, you know, every so often anyway, you're gonna get silver pretty frequently. So yeah, she's pretty good. Weinhardt would be alright if you're trying to like use him for farming. Just different stuff. It really depends on what you're trying to go for and who you're building up and everything, because, you know, even your bench units need to be, or your associated units need to be at a pretty decent level for you to really get your max CC out of that. So yeah. These little chests aren't worth anything, really. Like, it's not worth wasting your money on. They really only give you like a couple of items here and there, and they're not even really that great. It's just a couple of awakening materials, and you can grind those out in regular match, or like regular like not events, but like stages and stuff like that throughout the game anyway. So I wouldn't even worry about those. These tickets are kind of just asking to be shafted, basically. Like, even these right here, You would think these would be pretty good because you can pull an SR or an SSR, but honestly, it's still like a 6% chance to get an SSR, which is super low, and you would need to spend like a ton of like coins to get these tickets. I've done it personally, and I would recommend not doing it because it's unless you just get really lucky and you pull something good out of it anyway. Like, you know, your odds aren't good with this. Don't worry about it. Spend your coins on something a little bit more interesting, I guess, if you really want to. Obviously, there's stamina potions in this one too. If you want to keep buying stamina potions, you can do that. And then these other things if you really want to buy those. But yeah, don't worry about these SR pendants and the R pendants. I guess if you really need SR pendants, you could, but then again, you can get those pendants in Fort Solgris. Just kind of like wait for your cooldowns to go down, and then you know run that as much as you can, so that way you're getting your max rewards and stuff like that, and you're not wasting your materials and everything on that. So moving over to gold. This is where it gets a little bit more interesting. So you can actually buy SSR pendants here, and this is for pulling any SR units. Like you acquire these gold coins from pulling SR units out of summons. So don't worry about this thing right here. This is just for the Rita event going on right now, because they just released Escanor recently, and you can actually get Rita. So these will go away. And you don't even need to buy those anyway, because you can literally just run free stages to get them. So anyway, yeah. So there's some pretty decent units actually in this shop. These are normally the SSR units that aren't really all that great. That normally get added to the platinum shop. So anything in here that's actually worthwhile would probably be Red Hauser's good for farming. Green Jericho's really good if you need her, because she's actually a super good nuker. She hits really hard because of her crit damage, so I would definitely recommend that. I've actually ended up buying a couple of these to make sure that mine's maxed out. I've actually got my Jericho to 6/6 now, so buy these if you actually have the extra coins and you're willing to spend them. Red Arthur's really good as well. Gila's okay because you can link her with Jericho to boost her ultimate and everything. But you don't really have to max her out if you don't want to, but it definitely helps if you want to go that extra mile. Other than that, that's pretty much all for the units. The Green Elaine's okay. Like, some of these units are fine. Like, you can definitely buy these units if you want them, but you know, just those three, probably the Hauser, the Jericho, and the Arthur are probably the most noteworthy or worthy there. These you can get from Fort Solgris, don't worry about it. The books and stuff you can get from Fort Solgris, don't worry about it. These right here are okay, maybe, if you're really trying to do a bunch of equipment stuff, but most of the time you can just end up farming a bunch of equipment out and then salvaging a lot of the equipment anyway and getting some of these. And then these are the same thing. You literally get these from salvaging any sort of piece of equipment ever, so I wouldn't really worry about it. 50's kind of an okay amount for 2 coins, but at the same time, it's not really, like, you could save up your coins and buy something a little bit better with them, so just don't worry about it. Because there's going to be limited time sales that go on, and you can see that these units right here are 30 coins. There will be, I think it's 2 units that are 20 coins a piece normally right here. I don't know why there's not any right here. I guess the time limit is up or whatever, and they're waiting on the rotation to change or something like that. But the SR pendants, don't worry about. The SSR pendants are actually pretty good for only 10 coins, and you're like early in the game you get a lot of these, and you don't really have to worry about them. But later in the game, like at where I'm at now, I'm pretty much running that like Fort Solgris event like constantly whenever I have charges for it or whatever, just to build up that meter to get SSR pendants and stuff like that, because, you know, they're a little bit harder to come by later in the game, and you need them to limit break your characters and, you know, this and that. The chalices are kind of okay, but you can really just run boss battles to get those, so I really wouldn't worry about spending coins on them. Maybe just save up for either SSR pendants or some of the coin shop units would be fine. But yeah, that's pretty much it for gold. And then you have platinum. Platinum are definitely the hardest to come by because you have to actually pull an SSR unit out of like a multi or a summon, or, you know, whatever the case may be. Do not buy these first 2. If you want to, spend your gold coins on the SSR pendants. it's just, I feel like it's so hard to come by the SSR pendants because or the SSR medals, like the platinum medals, because the rates are so low in this game that it's not going to be worth wasting them on these two, because this is just going to give you 1 unit back anyway, and unless like you're actually wanting to get something specific out of this ticket, which there's so much stuff in this ticket anyway that it's not going to be worth the gamble really. That you can just save up and buy some of these actually good units. This, I don't know specifically, I think this green Elizabeth is pretty good, but she's probably the least important unit out of this whole thing, so I haven't even bought her yet, even though she's on sale. I would kind of like to buy her while she's on sale, but there's no way I'm getting wasting any of my gems to buy, or to get the platinum coins for this, so I'm not worried about it. This Blue DN is actually really good. She's a good PvP unit, so if you want to max her out, you can buy those if you want. Blue King is really good. You get him from the story, and I don't think he's in any sort of banners or anything like that, so this is really your only way to raise his ult as far as I know. This Green Bond is super good because he's kind of like an AoE attacker, and he has Extort for one of his skills, which is really nice because it will kind of like sap their stats and give it to him, and that's really nice to have. So he's good for like AoE farm and stuff, and he can also hit really hard. I've seen a lot of teams use like Red Arthur, and they'll boost this Green Bond, and then he'll use one of his like level 2 or level 3 like attack cards and just completely like wipe teams with it. It's ridiculous sometimes. Green Merlin is super good because she has a skill that can take off ult gauge, and she has her little prism box move where it'll put like a shield on all of your units and everything like that, so that's super good. She's super helpful for various different types of stuff, like she's good in PvP, she's good for certain death matches, you know, this and that, so she's actually pretty good. I would recommend buying her. I actually didn't pull for her at all because her banner really wasn't worth pulling for, so I just waited for her to come out on the coin shop. I tried to go for Gother, and I couldn't end up pulling Gother, but he ended up getting added to the coin shop anyway, so this is one that you're definitely going to want to try to buy. He's super good. He's pretty much viable in every single game type there is. And, I mean, you can always use dupes and try to get him to 6'6", because he's really, like... Well, you don't even really need him at 6'6" if you're just a free-to-play player. Like, I'm probably not going to end up buying any more of these coins. Just having the unit in general is super good because his moveset is so good. Because he literally has a move where is it? This move right here. Invasion Arrow, increase skill ranks of one ally, and then if you get it to level 2, increase skill ranks of all allies. So this basically means all of the cards at the bottom of your, cards at the bottom of your board, when you start the match, you'll probably end up pulling one of these. You can either use it and then pick a specific person on your team that you want to buff their cards, and it'll raise all of their cards in your hand by 1 level, so it'll turn all of their level 1 cards into 2s, 2s into 3s, you know, etc. But I don't know, he's very, very good unit, and then at level 3 it'll actually give you some stats and stuff like that as well, along with increasing some of the skill ranks. So yeah, he's definitely like the one to go for out of all of the Platinum Coin Shop units. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, there's just some stuff that I've wasted my money on. Like I bought some of these tickets. They were not worth it. I've wasted a lot of friendship on just various different things that were kind of stupid when you should be buying these stamina pots. Those are really the best option there. Just, you know, some of this stuff just really isn't worth the value because, you know, it's just not. So really just watch out for it, kind of like look into what you're needing specifically and kind of base it off of your own opinion. Obviously you can buy anything you want. This is just all suggestions and everything like that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully this was a little bit insightful and kind of you can help or you can learn something from the mistakes that I've made, because I've been playing pretty much since the first week or so that Global launched. And there's definitely been some mistakes that I've made because this game is vastly different than any of the other gachas that I've played. So, yeah, a lot to learn. But, you know, it is what it is. So, yeah, hopefully this was helpful. And, yeah, stay tuned. Make sure you guys subscribe because I'm going to be doing a lot more Grand Cross content in the future. I'm actually going to try to start, you know, making this game sort of my main focus on the channel for the moment, because I've been playing this game a lot anyway since it's pretty much come out. So yeah, stay tuned. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.